Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We're coming to you live from Midwest Performance Cars in Northbrook, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour.
It's okay to clap. Please clap.
Please clap. Please clap.
That's what Senator Klobuchar said last night at the CNN town hall. Yeah. Please clap.
I tried to impeach
Please
Michelle
love me.
Bachmann. Yeah. By the Midwest Performance Cars is a Signature Bank client. Also believes that Chick-fil-A does represent Chicagoland values because we're eating Chick-fil-A for breakfast right now, and it's delicious, I must say. Andy Bizub is the founder of Midwest Performance Cars.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
Please clap.
Also, he's a participant. He can play a little golf, play a little stick, and his son's a really good player.
Yeah, you guys won our tournament last year.
That's what we do.
What were you, 18 under or 22 under?
I think we were like 25 under,
Oh,
28
there you go.
under. Some ridiculous
It's a
number.
big
Let's
number.
just go with 30 under, huh?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a good round
Yeah.
number. Yeah.
Midwest Performance Cars. So you were a trader for a long time,
25 years at the Board of Trade.
and then you started this business a few years back. What was the impetus to start the business?
Well, I mean, the commodity business was evolving very quickly, and I had evolved with it for years, and it was getting at a time where I knew it was going to end someday, which is, you kind of stay up to date with technology and everything. So it was I didn't want to do another evolution in that business, so I decided to retire from that. And at the same time, I was a customer of this shop since 2007, and I found out that it was about to close, about to go out of business. People were great, location was great, just needed some professional management, needed some more capital invested in it. So I put together a deal, acquired the business, kept everybody on. I have a great crew. I mean, they're absolutely my number one asset is the people I have working for us.
What has been the biggest obstacle, though, so far? Something that you didn't foresee when you took over the business?
Well, really getting the word. I wanted to get the word out to the existing customer base that we were still there, but things were different. Everything was moving ahead. We were getting new equipment. The place was getting cleaned up. There was a new sheriff in town, but it was going to be the same dependable service that they always had.
Yeah, and you're a bit anal retentive. I mean, I've never seen a cleaner place in my life.
We like to keep it clean.
It's immaculate.
How long did it take you to clean up the business once you took
The one
over?
downtown took us about a year to get cleaned up. We took out 3 dumpsters of trash, and then scrubbed the floor incessantly every 2 days for a month to get all the grease and oil off the floor.
Wow.
And it's funny because I still, of course, being an owner, I still walk in and I see all the dirt. But when our customers come in, they're always amazed because it's in a 100-year-old warehouse building, right? So it's exposed brick and it's very vintage looking, and people love the feel of it, and they're like, "Wow, I can't believe how clean it is." But of course, I'm always
Well, that's what the discerning car enthusiast demands.
right. And we're servicing very, very high-end cars. I mean, we're 50% of our business is Porsche downtown.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then the rest of the Germans, and then some really oddball stuff that no one else in the city works on. But we have a clientele that expects a certain level of service, and we are more than happy to provide that service.
Oddball stuff like superhero
a Fiat
stuff.
Jolly.
A what?
We have 2 Fiat Jollies in the shop right now. They're very small. If you Google it, it's a very small little Italian car that runs about $100,000 to $150,000.
Have you ever
now.
worked on a 2008 Chrysler Town and Country used minivan?
No.
I mean, that is a rare
Yeah.
gem.
Yeah. Well, it's rare because so many of them rusted out and they're off the road now.
She's
Oh,
yeah.
ouch.
That's why we brought this G-Wagon in for you. It's ready to be take home on trade.
Now I'm now by contrast, I'm having a little problem with the nitrous switch on my car,
here we go.
and I'm wondering if you work with specifically.
Tom, my performance specialist can get you all set up. We just added 100 horsepower to a 2018 Porsche 911 through a custom tune. Yeah, so it went from 450 to 550.
What's the fastest car on the road? Porsche 997.
Porsche 917, the hybrid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the hybrid. That thing's an inherent grand. So
I want my car to be faster than that.
So,
why?
what
So
can
you can
help
avoid
him?
the police on the way up here in the
Wow.
mornings.
Avoid them. You can't
Wow.
shake them, man.
Boy, it's good to interact with law enforcement from time to time.
That's right. We
weekly
support law
basis.
enforcement.
Encourage them.
Right.
Yes, but
And
good
we
work
are,
they do.
that's great that you, a little segue. We're big supporters of the 100 Club. We have been. for
Yeah, that's
years.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I started supporting them when I was at the board. I got brought in by some board guys, and we've continued with the business to support
The
100
interesting
Club.
thing, too, about your philanthropy and also your time at the board is you chose a different path in terms of an exit strategy. You chose not to bust out. You chose to leave with money, which is an unusual story.
I was one of the, well, first of all, like I said, I always knew that time was ending because it was just too great to continue forever. So I saved my money. I didn't spend it.
Good for you.
And I was a grinder. I mean, most of the guys down there, and women, were grinders. They didn't live a flashy lifestyle. They went to work every day. They raised kids. I was able to coach little league and soccer for 12 years because our market closed at 2:00. I could get home, and I was always the coach in town. One of the
That must have really cut into your time drinking after that.
Good for you to coach.
It was great.
I like
it was
coaches.
great. I miss coaching so much. I mean,
Oh.
it really is. If I could talk to little league coaches today, I would just say, relax and have a great time because it doesn't matter. They're not going pro.
So
Don't tell their parents that.
They're not going pro.
Oh, especially in Innocent. You started the place. You refurbished the place on
Right.
Lake Street downtown.
Right.
And then obviously you thought that there's a bigger market than just the downtown Chicago market because you opened this place in Northbrook.
I did. But it was very by chance. I really didn't have an interest in opening a second location. But we were ready when the opportunity presented itself. I knew the gentleman who owns Ultimo Motors, and he said that he was opening another location up in Northbrook up here. They sell late model sports luxury used cars. And would I like to sublet some space and put a repair shop in and then check out all of his cars? He comes in, get them ready for sale on the showroom floor, and then be able to, go after the retail customer as well. It was a great way to expand, but the fact is we were ready to be able to do it. I hadn't planned on it, but the opportunity presented
Now,
itself.
how many employees do you have?
So we have 11 downtown and 5 up here.
Okay, and high turnover rate? Are they?
I think since I started 5 years ago, we have lost 2 employees. And when I started downtown, we had 8 employees total. So we've about doubled in size, and we have like I said, we have such a great crew, but we really concentrate on culture and developing just a really great culture. I think all of our people really enjoy coming to work, and they really love what they're doing, and they're excited about it all the time. And there's a couple things I always tell them. One thing I always say, there should never be a year that you don't make more than the year before. So you should always be moving ahead. We invest heavily in training. We send our people all around the country for specific training, both management and technical training. And it pays off because they're happy, they're productive, and they like coming to work.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, because you're dealing with so many high-end, high-performance cars, there's going to be, number one, everything you do is going to be very expensive in terms of making a mistake.
Right.
And number two, there's a lot of technical knowledge that's required.
Right. And we
These are like huge automated robots, these cars these days.
Right, and we have, well, in our downtown shop, we have a 1963 Porsche 356 Cabriolet in there, but we'll also have a 2018 911.
Wow. She
That's
said that.
amazing.
She said that like she knows what that means.
Oh, it's a beautiful. It's the original.
Car. That's the original Porsche.
It's the
isn't it?
original Porsche.
Yeah.
Right,
So there. It's not.
Okay. You're
one
such a
of us in this
gearhead.
room took auto shop.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
it wasn't you.
That's
Buddy
true.
I
boy.
took
That
auto
is true.
shop as well.
High five. I love you know even
That
more.
is
You're
true.
Coach
Gordon Tech.
and yeah,
Gordon Tech, yeah.
Yeah.
Now the Paul Prep.
Right.
She took auto shop at Iowa. That's where she majored. in.
Oh, yeah, right.
But anyway, go back to the technical
Yes,
training.
please.
My biggest job is really marketing and business development, and then just making sure that our people have all the equipment and tools and training that they need. And so we have really gained a reputation regionally and actually across the country because we will have a lot of people call from other parts of the country who want us to check out a car that they're looking at buying in Chicago.
Okay.
So we've built this really good reputation, particularly with Porsche, but with all the Germans, for having a very very high end service, very transparent process. So we never want anyone to leave having any questions about what was done with their car.
Now, are you a gearhead yourself? Are you really into cars? Is that why you did it, or you just saw this as a business opportunity?
Both.
Both.
Both. When I was 19, my first car was a 72 Triumph Spitfire. So I very early learned to hate British cars.
Yeah.
But it ran about half the time. But that's how I started. Then you had to either have a lot of money, which I didn't have, or learn how to work on your own car. So I did that. And then I was always mechanical my whole life. I've rehabbed houses. I've done all that stuff.
Wow. What was your second car then?
I once changed a tire.
Oh, but
My second car was.
Congratulations, Dad. Very mannish of
Thank you.
My second car was an '83 Honda Civic that I bought from my sister for
Okay.
$600.
Oh, that's awesome.
Can you?
It ran a lot better than the '72 Triumph, but girls when I was younger didn't like it as much.
No.
So
It's all about the ladies.
I also had a full head of hair. So
Can you turn my car into a transformer?
we don't do body work.
Oh, no body work. What about weaponizing it? I'd like an oil slick
Weaponizing.
function, missiles on the side panels.
I don't think Rom or Lori are down with that.
Well, so I mean, how do you
They
get?
don't need to know.
I mean,
it's just a
I do
case.
everything short of that to get slow pokes out of the left lane.
Yeah.
But
can-
I feel like I'm not sending a strong enough message.
Well, I flash the lights, and then sometimes I beep.
I
Because
want.
it's
I
really
want
bad in the morning.
I
People
want
do
an
not.
electronic sign on the back of my car that says, "If I'm passing you on the right, you don't know how to drive."
Honestly,
Yeah.
we need to get that going.
I don't think the rhetorical shaming is enough. I think we
Well,
need to take it to the next level.
And they're not
is my
going to get
point.
it either. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you something else too, because you invited me to this great event down in the West Loop, incubator that's being headed up by Rick Bayless for restaurant workers.
Right. It's called the Hatchery.
The Hatchery.
At Kedzie Lake. Right.
And so, just what's going on in West Loop, even though it's a difficult business climate in Chicago and in Chicagoland because of the policies of the politicians.
Sure.
But the effort that's being made, and by the way, a difficult neighborhood. You just mentioned the cross streets, difficult neighborhood to avail families, young people of entrepreneurial opportunities.
Sure. So I'm on the board of the ICNC, it's an industrial council of near West Chicago. So we really support businesses in the Kinsey Industrial Corridor. The ICNC developed this project called the Hatchery. It's a food service incubator. So if someone wants to start a food service business, but they don't have the money, they don't have the resources to go rent space, rent commercial kitchen space, they can go into this incubator, and we have 53 commercial kitchens in there. They can rent a small commercial kitchen, get their business up and running, and also get advice from people like Rick Bayless, who is putting a culinary instructional program in there.
Right.
And be in this supportive environment where they can get advice, and it's cheaper to start their business, develop that business, get it going. Then when they're ready to move out and take space, they've got something going. They already have a revenue stream coming in, and it's really great. You know, we located at Kedzie Lake, like you said, tough neighborhood, but there is so much potential in Chicago. You know, I was born in Gage Park. Grew up on the Northwest Side. My dad worked for a city for 40 years in the water department. Right out of coming home from World War II, he started as a bridge tender, right? So, I mean, there is nobody as Chicago as I am. And my heart just bleeds for this city. But also I think of the potential. I mean, just with competent leadership, this city would have 4.5 million people in it.
I know.
You know, and just
Instead,
be burgeoning.
we're losing tens of thousands
Yeah.
every
And I'm
year.
tired of I'm tired of it being the haves and the have-nots. And if we can move the prosperity that the West Loop, the near West Side is undergoing, and just keep it creeping out, and the job creation will just alone will have huge effects.
And the hatchery is a green shoot in that direction. Again, food service industry. I said restaurant. It's much broader than that. Food
Right.
service industry.
Right, and the restaurants are clamoring for people to hire, and this will also be a training ground for those people.
He is Andy Bizub. He is the owner of Midwest Performance Cars, location in Lake Street. What's the Lake Street location address?
1385 West Lake.
All right, 1385 West Lake in Chicago, up here in Northbrook, right off Shermer Road. If you're a discerning car enthusiast, as I am, this is the place you want to go. Andy, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate
Thanks for
it.
having me.
Where is my automobile? Automobile? Zoom me out.